In this video, we'll break down the most important pickleball tips learned through years of high-level play. We'll explore the technical adjustments that create the biggest improvements, and we'll talk about modern pickleball decision-making that separates efficient players from inconsistent ones. Not every tip produces the same impact on the court. A small number of habits often generate the majority of meaningful results. The concepts in this video focus on the details that consistently change performance when they are understood and applied correctly. Movement at the kitchen line often determines how balanced and prepared a player remains during fast exchanges. One of the most common problems occurs when players move laterally using crossover steps instead of shuffle steps. At the kitchen line, lateral movement should be controlled through shuffle steps, rather than crossing one foot over the other. Crossing over creates instability and temporarily removes the player's ability to react quickly to the next shot. Shuffle steps allow the body to remain square to the court while maintaining a ready position. When the player stays facing the opponent, reaction time improves and the paddle remains in a position where it can respond quickly to incoming shots. Another advantage is reach. With proper shuffle movement, players can extend farther into the kitchen when reaching for a dink without losing balance. When moving backwards slightly, a variation often called a drop step maintains this same concept. One foot remains closer to the kitchen line while the outside foot lunges backward to reach the ball. This structure allows the player to recover quickly after the shot. The split step plays a different role. It is most important while moving forward toward the kitchen line. Instead of running directly into position, players should stop their forward momentum with a split step right before the opponent makes contact with the ball. This brief jump into a balanced stance allows the player to react in either direction. Without the split step, forward momentum often pulls the player off balance during the next shot. A poach is a tactical interception that appears frequently in high-level doubles play but is rarely used at the recreational level. The concept relies on recognizing what opponents are likely to do based on positioning. When one partner remains deeper in the court while the other partner moves forward, opponents often target the player who is still back. This is a logical decision because the deeper player usually has less control over the rally. However, this predictable choice also creates an opportunity. If the player at the kitchen line recognizes that their partner is still back, they can anticipate the incoming shot and cross over to intercept it. Because the ball is usually directed deeper toward the back player, the intercepting player often receives a favorable angle to attack. Peripheral vision becomes important in this situation. By quickly recognizing that the partner has not advanced to the kitchen line, the forward player can anticipate the likely target and move early. When executed correctly, the poach often results in easy attacking opportunities and free points. A ready position is not a fixed stance. Its position should change depending on the situation on the court. Many players hold their paddle too far in front of their body while standing at the kitchen line. When the paddle is extended too far forward, it limits the ability to generate power during counterattacks. Keeping the paddle slightly closer to the body creates space to extend forward when attacking. This space allows the player to accelerate the paddle and produce stronger counterattacks when the opportunity appears. The direction of the paddle should also follow the direction of the ball. When a player is dinking down the line, the ready position naturally faces forward. When the exchange moves cross-court, the paddle should shift slightly toward that side. Height also matters. At the kitchen line, the paddle should generally remain around net height, because most speed-ups travel just above the net. When players move farther back in the court, the ready position should lower because incoming shots are more likely to target the feet. The goal of the ready position is simple. Place the paddle in the closest possible location to the shot that is most likely to arrive. The third shot drop is one of the most important shots in pickleball strategy. The trajectory of contact significantly affects consistency. In tennis, players often take the ball on the rise. In pickleball, especially when hitting a drop, contacting the ball while it is still rising creates a higher risk of errors. When the ball is rising, the paddle must redirect the upward motion of the ball. When contact happens as the ball is declining, the shot becomes more controlled. Instead of redirecting the ball's upward path, the paddle simply sends the ball back in the direction it was already traveling. Deep returns from opponents often make this timing more challenging. In those situations, proper footwork becomes essential. Players may need to move backward after the bounce, so that contact occurs after the ball begins to fall. Tracking the ball carefully off the opponent's paddle allows players to position themselves correctly for this declining contact point. When a team gains the aggressive position, shot selection becomes extremely important. Many players hit aggressive balls without a clear target, which often leads to unnecessary errors. When opponents are positioned deeper in the court, the most effective targets usually sit near their feet. Shots directed toward the feet force opponents to hit upward, making counterattacks difficult. 3 general attacking lanes often appear in this situation: down the middle and toward each opponent's outside foot. However, the exact target depends on positioning. As opponents move closer to the kitchen line, targets shift shorter in the court. Deep drives may become easier to intercept, so lower shots directed at the feet become safer choices. Ball height also influences target selection. When attacking from a lower ball, the available angles are limited. Higher balls open the court and allow sharper angles that can pull opponents completely off the court. Understanding how targets shift based on positioning, ball height, and court location helps players convert aggressive opportunities into points rather than random power shots. Attacking from the kitchen line usually involves a paddle position that faces sideways when striking the ball above net height. However, many advanced players use a slightly different approach by lowering the paddle and pointing it downward. This lower paddle position offers several advantages. It allows players to reach slightly lower balls while still generating an attacking motion. Because the paddle begins closer to the ball's height, the player can attack balls that sit closer to the net. Another benefit is disguise. The paddle position used for volley dinks already places the paddle slightly downward while reaching into the kitchen. By attacking from the same position, the player makes it more difficult for opponents to recognize whether the shot will remain soft or suddenly become aggressive. This technique appears frequently on backhand attacks but can be used on both sides. Serve power often comes from body rotation rather than arm strength alone. Many players attempt to generate speed by swinging primarily with the arm, a habit commonly referred to as arming the ball. Introducing upper body rotation changes the mechanics of the serve. By rotating the torso before initiating the forward swing, the arm begins moving with additional momentum. This sequence creates a slingshot effect that adds power without requiring excessive effort from the arm. During the motion, the chest should rotate toward the net by the end of the swing. Adding a small amount of wrist lag can increase power even further. When the butt cap of the paddle briefly faces forward before the swing releases, the paddle accelerates more efficiently through contact. Small technical adjustments often produce the largest improvements in pickleball performance. Efficient movement, balanced positioning, controlled mechanics, and intelligent targeting all work together to improve consistency and decision-making during rallies. When players focus on stable shuffle movement, precise ready positions, disciplined shot selection, and simplified mechanics, the game becomes more controlled and predictable. These concepts strengthen both offensive pressure and defensive stability. By applying these ideas consistently during practice and competition, players develop a more reliable structure for every rally and create a stronger foundation for long-term improvement on the court.